I heard the splash before I even saw her. Picture this one moment I'm standing by the back window, watching a Navy SEAL. Yeah, real one. Surface from a stealth dive plastic dummy slung over his shoulder like it's Tuesday. Next thing I know, this banshee shriek just rips through the night, think dolphin on helium, and there she is. Dead center of the training zone, floating like she owns the place on a giant inflatable flamingo. Leopard print swimsuit, sunglasses so big you'd think she was dodging the paparazzi, and a stainless steel wine tumbler raised in triumph as if she's just conquered the Atlantic. And has no clue she's drifted straight into a federal training facility crawling with 6 guys who could literally vanish her in under a minute. Welcome to suburbia, folks. And when she whips out her phone and calls 911, yep, right there from her bird, claiming there's some kind of paramilitary cult doing synchronized water warfare. Well, she didn't just blow the mission, she lit the whole neighborhood on fire. But I'm getting ahead of myself. See, just 2 weeks earlier, life had been almost boring. I'd just gotten back from another contract overseas, ready to disappear into my lakeside cabin at the very edge of a sleepy HOA-run suburb. I was the weird neighbor, the one who skipped the block parties and never joined the bake sales. Honestly, I just wanted quiet. That's why I bought the last property on the street, a double-lot, reinforced 8-foot fence, the works. Privacy wasn't a want, it was non-negotiable. What nobody knew was that my backyard was, let's say, dual purpose. Not just burgers and beer under all those landscaping stones, was a federally cleared off-grid aquatic training site. Once a year, a handful of my old SEAL team would show up. We'd run our drills, underwater maneuvers, escape tactics, blackout covers on the fence, the whole 9 yards. Legal, licensed, supposed to be secret. This year, things were dialed in even tighter. The team had rolled in 3 days ago, and we were already neck-deep in scenarios, silent timed escapes. Infrared markers nobody could see without gear, underwater comms, the works. We'd run a tight ship until that night. 10 minutes into a silent escape drill, I stepped inside to check thermal maps. Call me paranoid. I just like knowing the numbers, and then that splash. I whip around, run for the slider, and what do I see? A reality show fever dream Karen? Yeah, that Karen. You know the type. The one who tried to find me for non-regulation Pine Tree Heights. Who banged on my door last Christmas because my wreath was, and I quote, visually aggressive. Now she's just breaststroking through the pool, grinning like she's discovered Atlantis. She actually waves at me. This pool is divine. Why have you been hiding it? Lady, I'm hiding it because Navy SEALs are doing drills 10 feet away, and you just cannonballed into a national security operation. The guys are frozen, stuck somewhere between laughter and, do we activate the swim tether? One of them mouths, Sir, you want us to initiate with the kind of face you make when you're not sure if it's a prank or a test. I shake my head. Stand down. Karen, meanwhile, is working the crowd of 0. She's perched on her flamingo phone in one hand, wine in the other. Relax, you don't own water, she says, as if she's quoting the Geneva Convention. HOA bylaws say shared spaces, buddy. She'd actually scaled my locked gate 8 feet high, 2 warning signs, and just waltzed in. That's not a mistake, that's a statement. And then because why not, she calls the cops. There's a group of masked men doing weird rituals in my neighbor's pool, she slurs, half posing like it's a pool party. 10 minutes later, cop cars roll up, lights blazing. Karen's waving them down from the pool, wine sloshing. Officers, thank God you're here. This man is running midnight cult rituals with armed militants. Before they can even blink, I'm out there, ID in hand. Jake Mercer, federally authorized training, Navy SEALs, everything's by the book. Officer Ryan, bless his memory, recognizes me. Jake, you taught my CO at Coronado back in 14, still do. Karen's face, just chef's kiss, goes from smug to scrambled eggs. Ryan turns to her, ma'am, you trespassed onto a government facility. That's a felony. And you called in a false report. That's abuse of emergency services. Karen ever dramatic shrieks, but I'm the HOA president. I remind her she lost that badge last year, though she never stopped wearing it, laminated and everything classic. The other officer can barely hold it together. She starts yelling about militarized neighborhoods and deep state conspiracies, and 3 of the SEALs pop up behind her masks, glinting deadpan salute to the cops. Karen loses it, drops her wine, and the police give her 2 choices, leave or get detained. She climbs out, soaked phone overhead like it's Excalibur, screeching threats all the way. The moment she's gone, the team loses it. Laughter impressions one guy miming her flamingo float. But I can't laugh. Not yet. Because Karen, she goes home, edits her little poolside disaster, and uploads it to social media. Caption: breaking hot tub military cult in suburbia. And because it's 2026, the thing goes viral before sunrise. Hashtags like hashtag Karen Navy and hashtag SEAL Pool Party take off. News vans start calling. My phone, forget it, the thing is melting. By noon, the Department of Defense is calling my contact. Mason skips right past hello. Mercer. OP's compromised. Extract the team. Shred everything non-essential. We'll reassign. He's not even mad. Saw the footage. Was she drunk? Probably. Or just nuts. Both. And he's right. Karen didn't just trespass. She broadcast footage that exposed equipment comms, even faces. All while suburban Facebook groups are sharing her video, like she's Joan of Arc, not realizing she just did more damage than a team of foreign hackers could dream of. Now, if this was just about my backyard, I'd have let it go. But this was my people's safety. I step outside, try to clear my head, and what do I see? Karen holding a press conference on her driveway. Folding chairs, a duct-taped lectern, and a few neighbors who honestly just look bored. She's waving a photo of me mid-yell, telling everyone she's standing up to the warlord next door. Some folks laugh, some don't, but enough listen. This is where most stories would take a turn for the dumb. But not mine. Instead of fighting fire with fire, I just went silent. I let Karen perform. Gave her the stage. Meanwhile, I gathered my team: Ben, the ex-Air Force pilot; Clara, the ER nurse; Raj, who ran logistics for FEMA; and 2 old National Guard vets who dealt with Karen's circus before. We set up a plan. Clara dug through incident reports. Turns out Karen had made nearly 40 911 calls last year for stuff like unauthorized garden gnomes. Raj followed the money she'd used HOA funds for beautification projects that only improved her house. The vets combed my security footage, cataloging every trespass, every ignored warning sign, every time she played victim on tape. Me, I wrote a statement, just the facts. No drama, no threats. Cold, logical, unspinnable. And as Karen ramped up her antics, posting videos in aviators accusing me of running a backyard navy, handing out flyers titled, "How to Spot Aquatic Warlords," I installed new cameras, updated my signs, property monitored by federal defense contractors. Unauthorized entry will trigger automatic reporting. Wasn't a bluff. Now I had to report her if she crossed the line. She did, of course she did. This time she tried breaking in wearing camo plastic night vision goggles, the whole bargain bin spy kit. I caught her on my sensors, watched her roll across my lawn like a bad action hero, narrating into her chest camera. "This is Agent Karen. I see weapons-grade chlorine. Wait, is that a mine?" Just as she got close, my old SEAL sonar-triggered jets went off. Whoosh! And Karen faceplants right into the pool. I let her flail a bit before stepping outside, shining the spotlight on her and calmly laying out the facts. "You trespassed again. That footage is now government property. You've triggered a breach warning, and your identity will be submitted for tracking." She calls my bluff, but when the security light blinks, she's suddenly a believer. The next day I package everything: footage, timestamps, violation reports, and send it straight to the HOA board. At the next meeting, Raj stands up, packet in hand, and lays it all out. Ben chimes in, "This isn't a spreadsheet, it's a legal record. Unauthorized entries, false reports, misappropriation of funds." Clara slides across a photo of Karen mid-cannonball goggles, a skew bottle of rosé in one hand, yelling at a SEAL. The room goes quiet. This time nobody's buying Karen's song and dance. The board votes to suspend her from everything. She's not evicted, but her empire's gone. Overnight, her throne turns into a lawn chair at the edge of my property with a sad little sign, "Free Karen, political prisoner of backyard tyranny." 3 days later, sunburned and alone, she packs it up. But Karen doesn't quit. She files an anonymous read, "Not at all. Anonymous city complaint claims I'm running industrial surveillance and illegal military operations." The inspector shows up, asks to see the filtration system. I make him coffee, show every permit, every DOD clearance. He leaves impressed. Days later, turns out Karen's house is flagged for violations. Floodlights, a fake blast wall, all paid for with HOA cash. Her property is crawling with city officials. Fines are issued. Her fantasy world unravels one permit at a time. Her latest flyer, beware Deep State Navy, at 2321 Sycamore Lane. Raj finds one in his mailbox and nearly chokes laughing. I stay silent. Let the evidence pile up. When the city finally finishes its investigation, Karen is ordered to remediate everything, tear down her garage addition, fix the drainage, pay a mountain of fines. The next HOA emergency meeting is called not by me, but by Clara, who's had it with the chaos. She loads a slideshow, The Cost of Chaos, a community reckoning. Every false claim, every wasted dollar, every emergency call and city visit laid out in PowerPoint glory. And then she invites me to speak. I don't grandstand. I just tell them we weren't training for war, we were training for life. We had approval. Privacy is not secrecy. It's trust. The room goes silent, then applause. Not a standing ovation, just the sound of a group finally waking up. Karen doesn't show. Rumor is she's at home convinced her fridge is bugged. A week later, her illegal koi pond gets drained. Her fake patrol decals are ripped from her SUV, and her house quietly hits the market. When the moving truck comes, not a soul helps her load a box. Last I see of her, she's berating the driver for stacking her freedom crystals too close to her wind chimes. That night, I sit by the pool alone, the water finally still. For the first time in months, it's quiet. I survived the kind of madness you can't train for, and I did it not with brute force, but with patient strategy and a little help from friends I didn't know I had. The lesson: sometimes the loudest people aren't the bravest, they're just the loneliest. And privacy isn't about hiding, it's about respect. I find a small package on my porch. No name, just a note. Maybe I went too far. Maybe you're not the enemy. Sorry, I'm starting over. Inside is a little ceramic flamingo cracked at the beak. It's not an apology, but it's something. I put it on the shelf in the equipment shed. No fanfare, just a reminder that in the end, we all live with the stories we tell about ourselves. Karen thought she could swim in my world, but she drowned in her own delusions. The water is calm now. The gates stand tall. Justice, real poetic justice, came not with sirens, but with silence. And here's the kicker. Did we do the right thing? Where's the line between defending what's yours and letting the madness take over? Is karma just a word we throw around, or is it the tide that turns when you least expect it? Let me know what you think. Was I right to stay silent, or should I have fought fire with fire? Ever had a neighbor cross the line? What did you do? Drop your story in the comments, and let's talk about what justice really means when it's your fence, your rules, and your peace on the line.